The spring anime season is almost over, which means I have not left my house in about 3 months, but enough about me. Let's get started. And starting off strong, we go to the MHA spinoff and Vigilantes. So I'm going to place it in almost peak. To be honest, I do like the more mature setting and the more mature characters when it comes to it compared to the original MHA, and I have had a lot of fun with it, especially with the interactions with his master and Koichi and the pro heroes that we get to see. I definitely think that it has a lot of potential, and I think when it comes to season 2 or 3, that's when it's really going to reach peak, possibly. And I can agree with some people as well that have said that they enjoyed this a lot more. Koichi is someone that was not gifted anything, and he technically worked hard to get to where he is and kind of did it on his own. And when it comes to Deku, obviously he got everything gifted. Now, I don't want to compare both of them because I think they have a completely different setting and a completely different storyline, but it's really nice to see this universe finally get an anime, and I've enjoyed it so far. Now, when it comes to the Shiunji family children, I was always skeptical about it because it's a harem anime, but I'll be honest, I have greatly enjoyed this show so far. Between all the 5 girls and all the different 5 personalities, which I wish they had a yandere somewhere in there. I had no idea that the mangaka for Rent a Girlfriend could write good characters and a better storyline that he already had, to be fair. And let's be honest, that one is a complete terrible show. If you're someone that likes Rent a Girlfriend, please do say why you like it. I would like to know. But other than that, this show is better in my opinion, and it has a lot of potential to it. And hopefully it never goes that route. And if you had to ask me if I had a favorite girl, I would Minami. Minami it is. And I'm not going to say anything else. So moving on. Fire Force Season 3, and this is going to go on the great category. I don't think it's almost peak or anything above it. To be honest, I kind of already knew from reading the manga what I was getting myself into, and I think if you have not read it or anything like that, I think you probably like it more than me. I do know that there has been a few animation issues that definitely impacted a few of the fights, especially the one with Shinra and the captain of the first division. I think that should have been better animated, and I think for it being a final season, part 1, it should have had better things to it. But so far, it has been good to watch. Honestly, I was waiting on this since season 2 ended, and yeah, I'm happy that it aired. Part 2 is going to be the one that goes peak mode. I think there's better stuff on the second half that they're probably going to hopefully save all their animation and hard work for it, and I can't wait for it. But yeah, Fire Force Season 3, great so far. When it comes to the Apothecary Diaries, I think I was expecting a lot more, but I'm going to throw this in the great category. And I think, in my opinion, it is kind of overhyped. To be honest, I think the show was a lot more interesting during Season 1, when it was more about poison and being an actual apothecary and kind of doing this instead of solving crimes and being a detective. If I really wanted to watch that, I would just go watch Sherlock Holmes or something else. But I think that's missing its potential when it comes to talking about the history background and how life was actually there. I think that would have made a more entertaining show, at least for me and my own perspective, compared to all the detective work that she has been doing for this whole season. And this is not to say that the relationships that she has between obviously Jinshi and the other ladies in waiting and whatnot are boring whatsoever, because they are not. I do hope that in the later volumes this does change and we get to see more of the original work instead of the detective work, and I think at that point it would definitely be at peak. If you've read the light novel, please let me know that this changes a little bit at least, but for me it's just a great show. That's about it. Now, Witch Watch is also going to be a great show, and you might hate me for it, but we basically follow the story of Nico and Moi, a witch and an ogre that start living together after she finishes her training and comes back to the city. And I'm not going to say that there's some deep, thoughtful writing coming into the show or anything like that, but it has been one of the most fun ones I've seen this season, and for the year as that goes. One of the best things is the references that you get to see from other shows, where it goes to from Demon Slayer to Attack on Titan to Dragon Ball Z, and they never get old. And one of the best things they did is to show the incomplete form of the opening in episode 3. I thought that was one of the best things they could have done, and the way it was handled, it was awesome. And I honestly wish more shows put this out just so that fans can actually see the work that they're doing behind the scenes and how much they love the work they're putting onto it. But yeah, other than that, Witch Watch has been amazing, but it's not going to be near peak. But a show that does deserve to be in almost peak is going to be Swerve the Demon Hunter. And now, this show at the beginning, it had a 1-hour opening, and I really did enjoy it. And the more I watched, the better I understood the story and kind of the better the writing got, to be honest. There's been a few twists here and there. If I was to describe it in a quick way, I would say it's probably the Demon Slayer for mature audiences. And yeah, that's not going to change. I've only kept up with about 7 episodes of it, but so far, they've all been great to watch. especially Genia when he goes demon hunting and kind of experiences the memories of the demons as well as the people that are around him. And it's just been great to see. And I can't wait to keep watching the show until it ends. And now what I think deserves peak for sure this season, it's going to be To Be Hero X. And you can't say I'm wrong. I don't think you can tell me that I'm wrong for placing it there compared to everything else. For me, there has not been a show anywhere close to it. And even though I wasn't expecting much when the season started, this has definitely become one of my top 5 for the year, probably, if I'm being honest. I think the stories that I've had so far and that I've had the joy to watch have been amazing. I think the world building and the story is going to be great, and we still have like 60 more episodes to go. I think everything so far has been amazing, from watching Nice to watching the ESO be in control and now to watching the singer. I think everything's been written so well, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. The animation, again, for being 3D and 2D, has kept up with what I wanted. And yeah, if you are not watching the show, I have no idea what you're doing with your time. And now moving on to YAIBA, which is a remake of the original one. So far, YAIBA has been what I expected. It just has the 80s, 90s, early 2000s look to it, the animation for it. So if you were into those back then, you're gonna feel some nostalgia when you're watching this show. So far, the animation has been great, and the remake of the fights have added so much to the original that I think it's somehow irrecognizable, but at the same time, you are happy that it received this. The interactions between YAIBA and Onimaru definitely have not changed and has kept the same flow to it and the same feeling to it as back then. I wasn't someone that actually watched the original, but having watched Dragon Ball Z and Bleach and all the old classics, I think this is something you're gonna like and enjoy. Now, moving on to Apocalypse Hotel, I think it's definitely gonna be an average show for me. So after Earth got abandoned by all humans due to a virus, this hotel remained in place with a group of robots, and they are in charge of obviously doing customer service and helping guests or anything like that. But after a few hundred years, no one came back, so obviously they're waiting on guests, and that's kind of what it revolves around. Obviously, every other episode there is a new guest, and they gotta help them around and, you know, figure out what they need to do in order for them to be happy. But other than that, it really didn't catch my attention, so it's just gonna go on average for me. But if you like apocalyptic settings, this might do it for you. Now, if you didn't heed my warning for the beginning after the end, I don't know what you were doing, but I watched it. I'm not sure what I was doing. I definitely watched 9 episodes of it. And yeah, I'm going to ask for a refund, please. I don't think there's any reason for me to explain, but I think if you were a fan of the series, you are angry at it. I wasn't even a fan of the series, and I'm angry at it. And that's how bad it has been so far. There's no point in wasting your time on it. I hope that somehow they save it in the future if there's a season 2. Otherwise, just read it. There's no point in watching. Just read it. Now, can a boy-girl relationship survive? This has been a roller coaster, but I'm going to place it on average. Mainly because the relationships are just all over the place. There is definitely like no merit whatsoever in trying to watch it for that. And if I'm watching it, it's definitely just for the train wreck of that it is. It's entertaining watching it that way instead of actually expecting a good romance outcome or anything of that sort. If you're into that type of thing, this has been great to watch. If not, it has just been your average show that you watch because the blue hair girl, it's obviously gonna definitely lose at the end of it all. And yeah, we're happy for that. Catch Me at the Ballpark has been a time killer for me. If I'm being honest, I think it is just your average slice of life comedy anime that airs every season, which there's nothing wrong with it. All the moments are enjoyable, and I definitely have laughed here and there. But other than that, that's about it. If you love baseball, this is something you watch. And if you like slice of life, this is it for you. I'm not going to say it's average because I think the majority of people that are watching this like it and probably rate it at great or anything higher. But for me, again, it has just been a time killer whenever I'd rather not watch anything else. And that's there. So yeah. But instead of killing time, they kill people. It's a ninja and an assassin under one roof. And this is going to be at almost peak. I honestly had no idea where this one came from, and I think I started watching it late anyways. But the amount of fun that I've had with this show is just crazy. We follow Satoko, a ninja who has just escaped her village and is on the run from other ninja assassins. On one day, she gets found by Konoha, an assassin that is trying to rise, and she takes care of her, basically also killing the assassins that are chasing Satoko. The only thing she's useful for is to clean, cook, and turn anything into leaves. And I think that's the best part about the show. The way she does it, the way she doesn't really care about anything else. And then you pair it up with Konoha, who is really just a robot who has really not much of an emotion range and just goes around killing people to try to make it to the top. The show gets even better, but I'm not trying to spoil it, other than she gets confused by a robot and takes the robot in instead of her. And I'm not sure how to say it, but the show has just been amazing and a joy to watch. And if it had more meaningful writing to it, this would definitely be peak From Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman has definitely been another time killer for me. I think the best part about this show has been him seeing his students in the capital and getting to see them again all grown up and having their own positions of power and being strong and whatnot. The only change from being your average show of a character being super strong that has no idea about it and then just goes on and beats everyone is that he actually starts getting recognition whether he likes it or not. And I'm assuming at some point he'll realize how strong he is compared to everyone else. If not, that's not sure how that's going to work out. But yeah, it's been a time killer for me. I think it's just your average show that if you have extra time, you're going to watch. And now we go to Once Upon a Witch is Dead, which has been another amazing show this season and super underrated that I don't think a lot of people have watched or started watching. We follow Meg, an apprentice witch to one of the 7 sages, which are supposed to be the strongest witches in the world. And Meg herself is awesome to just watch and see her perform her act. The way she complains, the way that her foul mouth just comes out, and the way she annoys other people and her friends is just awesome to see and a joy to watch. When it comes to the actual story, it's really just about Meg finding herself and being able to save herself from a curse in which she's gonna die at the age of 18 if she doesn't collect 1,000 tears of joy. Little by little, you realize that the show itself is not about that, but it's more about the kindness and the things that you can do to help people out. For example, Meg helps an old lady reunite with her son and his family one last time before she passes away, or when she helps Sophie, another sage, to overcome her animosity towards magic because of what happened to her in her earlier life. It's honestly such a well-written show that you can feel the emotions and you can feel what the writer was going for just by watching it on the screen. So I cannot recommend the show enough. Now, Food for the Soul has been another time killer for me. We basically follow a group of girls who establish a university club, and in order for it to not shut down, they actually start cooking. Well, obviously one of the main girls starts teaching them how to cook and creates new recipes, and they have a fun time doing this. And that's really all the show is about. There's nothing else to it. And if you enjoy learning how to cook, or if you need to learn how to cook, this is the show I would definitely tell you to watch. Now we move on to the Gorilla Goddess's go-to girl. And yeah, this is just going to be another average show. To be honest, there is a lot of fun moments just from her getting the gorilla power-up, aka she's 7 times stronger than normal humans, or she can run, I think it's 4 kilometers per hour, which creates a lot of funny scenes, a lot of comedic interactions. But other than that, there's nothing really deep about it. I think the romance aspect of it, the shoujo part of it, is actually the better part. But to be honest, she already chose the guy and has decided who she's dating, so I'm not sure why we still have that part with the other guys. But anyways, yeah, it's been okay. If you have extra time, you should definitely catch up to it. If not, don't worry about it. But yeah, and now we get to what is my favorite romance of the season in Summer Pockets. And if you have looked up anything from Summer Pockets, you will know it's from a visual novel by Key, and Key is the ones that also made Clannad. And if you're too young to know what Clannad is, you need to go and watch it. But anyways, I think Summer Pockets has received a great adaptation so far. And even though they started with the routes that I don't like as most as the other two in Tsumugi and Kamone, I think it has been interesting to watch how they do it. They brought up over all the good points from the novel, and I don't think they have missed anything. And all the different choices that you have are kind of implemented into the show. So far it's been great. I love it. If you have not played the visual novel, you definitely need to. It's only a small price of $45, but I know you got that in you. So yeah, give it a playthrough and keep watching the anime because it's only going to get better from here on out. And now I'll be honest, when it comes to the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows, I think it's the name. I dropped it after 3 episodes. To me, it seemed like the very typical of overpowered person is just sitting in the shadows because of something might happen, aka he got kicked out of his party. And I have not picked it up. If you think that it's worth the time, let me know and I'll start it back up. But to me, it just seemed like your average broken character show that really had no intentions to change, other than the fact that he kind of is a mediator for where he lives in the slums. But yeah, another show that I dropped is the evil overlord of an intergalactic empire. I think it's the full name. Now, this show had a crazy episode 1 where the guy finds out that his wife has cheated on him for so long, and the daughter that he has with her is actually not his daughter, and then he is divorced. Then he gets accused of embezzlement by his company, and then starts working to pay off debt, but then he finds out he's actually gonna die. And there's so much stuff to it in the first 2 episodes that honestly it had a lot of potential. But what made me drop it is the fact that they aired the first 3 episodes a month in advance, and then I had no idea what to do while waiting for a whole month. So if it has gotten a lot better and it's an interesting show to watch other than a random isekai, please do let me know and I'll pick it back up. Other than that, drop for now. And moving on to a show that I was never gonna skip is Rock is a Lady's Modesty. And this is gonna go in the great category as well. I think seeing the main character trying to abandon everything wanting to become the best lady has some attraction to it that has kept my attention. And this is apart from the obviously metal music or slash rock, if you want to put it that way. I love the music and I liked people seeing play instruments, and I might pick up my guitar soon enough again, but who knows. It's also awesome to see in her change from her calm demeanor to just straight up insulting people out in the middle of nowhere. And it was also fun to see the change in her stepsister from being just a terrible evil person to her to just loving her because of the way she actually is when her mom's not around. If you can get past the CGI of the show, this is something that is worthwhile to watch, and if you love the music and love seeing people just rock out, this is going to be great for you. And here we come to Mono, which is an anime all about pictures and videography. And to be honest, it's going to go in the grade category. I might be a little biased just because I like taking videos and photos of things and things I do around. But when it comes to it, I think the show is really fun. Seeing the two girls at the beginning just try to experience with a new camera and experiencing ways to take new photos and videos was really cool to see. Especially when you see the actual photos and how they're animating this stuff. It really makes you wonder how good the animators are at the job and how seriously they really put their effort into making this show be great. I think all the interactions between the girls and how they show their emotions and how they go from one side of the spectrum to the other has really just kept it going, and it has been super fun to watch. So yeah, I think it's really cool, and if you like photography or anything of that sort, this is going to be a bonus for you. Next on the list is Tabi, That's Journey, which is about a manga artist who travels Japan. And honestly, if you're someone that wants to go to Japan and wants to see things around, this is a great anime for you. It has been great for me because every time I try to do it myself, everything falls apart and I'm just left in shambles. So seeing it from a anime perspective has been great. I think if you enjoy slice of life and just having wholesome moments, this is going to go in the great category for you or somewhere about there. But for me and for most people, it's probably going to go in the time killer, especially because it makes me jealous of not being able to do it myself. I will say that the interactions she has with her previous classmates as well as her juniors are great to see, and just watching her learn from her mistakes and actually succeed in getting approval from the people that she works for is great to see. Honestly, you can't go wrong with watching this one if you have extra time. Now we move on to the Atelier Meister, which is again just going to be an average show, but it just follows a boy named Kurt who has no idea that all his abilities are broken, and every time he's in the screen something amazing happens. For example, he builds a whole palace in about 3 days with no help from anyone, or he literally cures someone that's cursed to die with one simple soup. So those are the things that happens. Obviously, if you're not into the whole trope of being overpowered, broken, having no idea, you're not gonna like it. Otherwise, I think it's just been a average show to watch. There's nothing really redeeming of it that would put him in the great or almost peak category, but I think if you have the time, it's probably one of the shows you can just relax and watch and sit there and just turn your brain off and not really pay attention to it. Now we go to the original Guilty Gear anime. And for me, it's going to be an average. I do love the animation that it has and the characters, obviously, but I have not been a long time Guilty Gear fan to know the whole story or how the characters kind of interact with each other and whatnot. I'm assuming if you are a Guilty Gear fan, I will say you think this is great, and so far has done a great job of bringing Guilty Gear into the animated form. If you think that's wrong, let me know. But yeah, I think it's just going to be your average show for the average watcher, unless you're like deep in the lore of Guilty Gear. And now another drop is going to be Teogonia, which is really just another isekai with and overpower MC. Again, nothing redeeming. I think I dropped it by the 3rd episode. I mean, so far I really had nothing worthwhile of qualities to watch over anything else that I watched this season. And then your Forma is gonna be another drop for me. I honestly really wanted to get into this show because I love mystery ones and I just couldn't. I'm not sure if the characters are just too plain where I couldn't get into it compared to the Apothecary Diaries, which is obviously kind of has that detective vibe to it as well. But your Forma just never really improved in my mind. And if it has gotten better, do let me know, because I think I might give it an extra chance, just depending on what you tell me. Now, the last two, Lazarus and Kowloon, I did not get a chance to keep up with them, so I'll probably be watching them afterwards. But if I was to give them just a rating from the 2 episodes or so that I watched, I will say they would go in the great category. I think they definitely sparked something in me to where I wanted to watch them, and I just didn't have the time. But yeah, I'll let you know in the future. Overall, we do have about 2 more weeks, but I think this is about a great spot to make this tier list because there's so much more anime coming up in July. If you agree, let me know. If you think something should be moved up and down, also let me know. But yeah, that's it for me, and I'll see you next week.